Right then, Daytona. Let's see if Tier 4 can make me lose my voice today. I hope not. Because really I'd like to keep my voice for tomorrow, but we shall see. So I'm not going to hang around too much. Simply because at the moment it's just myself in here. So, welcome Tier 4 here at Daytona. It's kind of like the third race that I'm doing sort of on the trot, if that makes any sense. As on the standings currently, there's pre-stewards, there we go, we want you. Yeah, there we go. Currently in the standings we got Moo in first place on the championship board with a 12-point advantage to GKR. GKR's in first and Moo's in third on this grid currently, so there's not going to be too much of a point impact if it finishes like this right now. We then got Danger in third, Jezzet in fourth, and then we got Turbo bringing up the top 5 at the moment. Going over to the constructors, the Ferraris have got a 7-point lead at the moment over the McLarens, with the Peugeots in third. So really it's going to be between the McLarens and the Ferraris, I think, for the season at the moment, unless the Jaguars can pull something more spectacular out of the next 4 rounds. But we shall see. Let's quickly have a little look through the grid, as I've seen a name which I'm not going to lie to you, I'm quite surprised is up at the top, but good surprises are always welcome. We've got GKR in first at them. We then got Grin in second. Great to see Grin having a fantastic qualifying session after a couple of hard races over the past couple of rounds. Excuse me. We got Moo in third. We got Turbo in fourth. We got Grump in fifth. Great qualifying session from Grump. We then got Obi-Wan in sixth and Danger in seventh. We then got a Peugeot gridlock in the middle of the grid, so the Peugeots could use that to their advantage to maybe keep Jezzet in 8th behind them, with Nordy in 9th and Kovacs in 10th at the moment, rounding off the top 10. We've got Chaos in 11th, Fracas in 12th, Fred in 13th. We then got, oh god, why do you guys make your name so hard to pronounce? I'm going to say Renvi, I believe that's how you pronounce your name. Again, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Welcome. I believe it's your first time out. If not, it's been a little while since I've seen you. Welcome. We then got Dex in 15th and Hamilton bringing up the rear in 16th at the moment. So without further ado, let's get cracking, as we've got 5 red lights. And away we go as the slope starts immediately for the front runners. So who gets a good start? GKR gets a good start, so does Moo, so does Turbo. Grin falls down to 4th, Grump stays in 5th at the moment, as we've got a huge cluster of cars coming into the first corner as Moo swipes around the outside to take pole position straight away, as we already have a crash. I believe that's Dex. It is Dex. So Dex makes a great start for, oh dear. Oh, he gets nudged. Sorry, I want to watch that from a little bit further back. So Fracas gets a bad start, Rip. Okay. I understand you've got to go left, but again, like we touched on that yesterday and when I was at Brazil, there's a whole space here, Renvi. You could go there. I understand why you've gone left, but if you're going into a car, that could cause problems. So Hamilton goes straight down to the apron. Hamilton also gets a very good start. Renfrey's all the way down in, up into 14th at the moment, all coming into the braking zone. Dex, I can't really say why Dex went. Did he have a bit of contact? I think he did. Who did he have contact with? There's just a little bit argy-bargy. I think it's a bit more of a racing incident here at the back at the moment. What did he have contact with? Huh? That makes absolutely no sense. There was nothing to his left. So Dex has got front and front left suspension damage when the only driver was Chaos and was to his front right. That makes no sense. So okay, so that's the reason why Hamilton and Dex had a little bit of a coming together. That's the reason why Dex had damage, and yeah, Renvi just comes in a bit too hot going into turn 1, which then hits Dex again, which then spears Dex off, threading the needle between Hamilton and Fracas. Fracas then gives him another touch. So Dex's race is over and done pretty much at the moment. We then got GKR in, who's lost a position. Moo's made a fantastic start. Gunt has made a fantastic start as well. Turbo stayed in the same place. Fred has made a monster start up to 5th position from outside the top 10. So fantastic first corner from Fred at the moment. We then got Danger in 6th. Kovacs is in 7th, again making a good start. Jez has fallen down a couple of spots. Chaos has gone up a couple of spots. Noddy's fallen down. Renvi's climbed up. Where's the other Mercedes? Oh, it's there, sorry. So, a mixture of starts on the grid. Obi-Wan's falling down and dropping down the order quite quickly as we come out onto the banking for the first time. We're going to stay with this group just for a moment, because Fracas is bump drafting Obi-Wan at the moment. That's a lovely camera shot as we come up to the bus stop chicane. I'm potentially expecting death here for the first time, and I can quite pleasantly say there is no death on the first lap, which is very, very nice to see. Grin, who's started in P2, has had an absolute howler of a first lap, all the way down into 15th after having a fantastic qualifying session. Let's go further forward. Let's definitely go further forward. I want to have a little look closer up as Fred. What's happened to Fred? Has he already got a penalty? Where did you get the penalty? I think you got it at the bus stop. Sorry, just one. We're going to go back just a little bit more and then we'll carry on where we were. Oh, I see how. There. Because you touched the concrete on the left. There you go. So there goes his penalty for Fred. Fred drops from 5th after having a fantastic start. His teammate overtakes him. Jezza and Chaos overtake him as well. Comes up, tries to chop McLaren's nose off, not going to be able to do it this time as Nordy just comes in from out of absolutely nowhere. Does Nordy outright themselves? No, just slams it up the inside. Great move. Caught Jezza sleeping. Jezza had to go wide to give the space. So Fred's now back up to 9th, about to be 8th. As Nordy has to defend the inside, goes a little... keeps it tight, actually does hold the apex. Well done to getting the car stopped and rotated. Let's go further forward. Chaos in 7th at the moment. Kovacs is in 6th. Danger's in 5th at the moment. So good opening lap from the Peugeot driver. Turbo's in 4th. Gump's in 3rd. GKR's in 2nd. Starting to close up a little bit on Moo. Stay with this group here for now. So Renvi trying to go up the inside of Jezza at the moment on the second banking. Renvi's got it at the moment, got the inside line and got the toe from Fred ahead of him. Renvi, after having a little bit of an argy-bargy start, is making good progress. There's lovely camera angles here, but Jezza's got a better second half of the banking, managed to get back out ahead. Renvi's starting to struggle to get past Jezza at the moment. Let's stick it on board. As we're building up to the top end of 6th gear for a lot of these cars, or to the top end on top speeds. Renvi using the slipstream built up through what is the second banking, technically. It's just behind. We've got Obi-Wan potentially wanting to have a little go in the little mix. Jezza tries to swing to the inside, can't quite get the car to stop, just about gets the car to stop. Renvi goes wide, as we're now going side by side through 2 and 3, past the pit exit. Is Obi-Wan going to have a double overtake? He is going to have a double overtake. He tries to send up the inside, goes a bit deep. Renvi gets a switch back. Jezza can't quite get the power down, so Jezza loses out. At the moment, Renvi still holds on to 10th. Fracas goes wide behind. Is that going to allow Hamilton to have a little look? I don't think Hamilton's going to be close enough. Renvi's got himself a 1 second penalty for going over the track limits, and now Renvi's been hung out to dry and hung up high by Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's gone through on the inside. They're all keeping it quite tight. Just has a little look, not going to attempt it. Renvi slams the door shut. Good bus stop chicane at the moment, done by everybody. I've not seen many mistakes going through the bus stop chicane. It can be quite a tricky one to do, especially if you want to try and carry the speed. Obi-Wan and Renvi got a great exit out of the bus stop, although the penalty's not going to help them too much. So there's a penalty served. There goes Jezza. Fracas is going to go through. Hamilton's also going to go through as well. So Renvi's 4 laps have just been kind of undone with 1 penalty. Let's go a bit further forwards. Someone have a little look for. I heard scraping and tyre squeals the second I leave. Oh, just catches the inside tyre wall and then just can't get the car to get going at all. Then goes off onto the escape road. Now carries on. So let's go a bit further up. Moo on home turf here at Daytona, leading at the moment, not opening up too much of a gap to GKR. Maybe as one might have hoped. Gump's in 3rd at the moment, being chased down by Turbo. We got Danger in 5th, Chaos in 6th. We got a little bit of argy-bargy going on for 8th position between Fred and Noddy at the moment. T1's going to be crap, yeah. Turn 1, lap 1's always interesting. You got to be a little bit careful sometimes. Afternoon Chaos. Fred has a little, Kovacs, excuse me, has a little look, try and get past Chaos. Some of these guys are going to get penalties because that was a very aggressive corner taking coming out of the bus stop. I think they might have gotten away with that. See, my luck touching the concrete back there at the end of the bus stop is always penalty. So, right, Chaos in the slipstream of Danger. What can Chaos do now, being forced to go around the outside going into turn 1? It's a very, very tricky braking zone, because if you get it wrong like Chaos has just done, he's demonstrated it perfectly, you will go very wide and lose a lot of time. So through goes Danger and Kovacs. Now you can actually use all of that there. You can do what Kovacs is doing and really open up the corner, because Kovacs has got a really nice run, opened up the gap a little bit to Droid, or Chaos, excuse me. Again, you kind of want a late apex again here. Get the late apex, run it wide. Oh dear, round goes Nordy in the McLaren. So round goes Nordic, who was in the top 10, now down to 13th. And also there goes the toe as well, so going further back. Dex is starting to catch up to Renvi. Grin's now up to 14th, Noddy's now down to 13th, Fracas up to 12th, Hamilton up to 11th, and Jezza holds the top 10 at the moment. Fred's battling with Obi-Wan at the moment for 8th position. Going further up ahead, we got Chaos now very much in the tyre tracks of Kovacs in the Mercedes. Going further forward, looking at the top 3, Turbo's managed to get past Grump, which we'll go and have a little look at in a moment. The Lexus just doesn't quite have the legs to catch up to the back of that AMG. Ooh, Chaos just about gets the car stopped and rotated. Struggling a little bit going into turn 1. Let's go a bit further forward. Yeah, I think Grump had a 1 second penalty, just judging by his lap time. So Grump now down to 4th. Turbo's up to 3rd, starting to chase down the top 2, and the top 2 haven't really caught up to each other. They're kind of just there. I mean, Moo's pulling out a little bit of a gap each lap, but not by much, and there's only points where Moo's pulling out as well. Hamilton's starting to close in on the back of Jezza. Fracas just dropping off a little bit. Let's stick with these guys just for a moment. It's kind of near the back of the grid at the moment where a lot of the action's going on. Hamilton in the slipstream of the Ferrari pulls out to try and get Jezza off the mark. Not going to work this time. Jezza has a little bit of a twitch mid bus stop. That's not going to help his run too much. Hamilton's had a lot more of a smoother bus stop, so this might help him on the second part of the banking. As I look a little bit further down the road, there's not much going on, so we're going to stay here. Hamilton pulls it in early, pulls to the inside early. Jezza just stays there, just hangs out. Now slots in behind. Is he going to try and counter-attack into turn 1? No, he's going to hit the inside wall and then get hit by Fracas. So, Fracas and Jezza having a little nudge again. This promotes Hamilton up to P10. Very, very good move as well. Going a little bit further forward, Chaos all over the back of Kovacs again. Kovacs just dropped off the back of Danger. Does Chaos have a little look? He does dive up the inside. As further up ahead, Gump drops it all by himself from the looks of things. Rejoins the track and then has another spin. We're going to come back and have a little look at that. So Gump caught up to the back of Turbo, was starting to catch up to the back of Turbo. Is it just a bit too tight and a bit too much? Yeah, it's just a bit too tight and a little bit too much throttle. And then tries to go full throttle over the grass as well, so that's not helped, and that's not going to help. So off goes the Jag driver, reverses to try and get out of the way, pins the throttle, and then gets back going again. So Grump, who was all the way up here, is now down all the way down to 13th or 13th position. So Grump was having a fantastic race. All kind of falling apart a little bit towards the end. GKR and Moo in a different class at the moment, slowly pulling out more of a gap each lap. We then got Turbo in 3rd, all on his own sum. We got Danger in 4th with a healthy gap to Chaos, who's in 5th, with Obi-Wan in 6th and Kovacs in 7th. What's happened here? Let's go back to where we left, which was about here. After being passed by Chaos, just as Gump drops the Jag. What's happened here? Kovacs tries to counter-attack up the inside. Here comes his teammate and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan gets the double. Does he get the double overtake? He does get the double overtake. I want to have a look at that from his perspective. So Fred all over the back of his teammate as well, potentially going to try and help his teammate along. Chaos doing a wonderful job offsetting these two. Obi-Wan finds the gap, gets past Fred, and also gets past Kovacs as well, going on to the banking. So fantastic move from the Peugeot driver, dispatched both Mercedes drivers very, very quickly and efficiently. Kovacs bump drafting him along. Obi-Wan tries to give Kovacs the squeeze. Kovacs then runs wide and goes off the track as well. So Kovacs not having a great lap at the moment, and then gets himself a half-second penalty. Yep, there it is. So only gets himself a half-second penalty, but that's still going to be enough to drop him to potentially behind Hamilton as well. Fracas now in 10th. Nordy down into 11th, so not having a great race at the moment. Jez is in 12th. Let's see where Kovacs ends up falling back to. So Kovacs' penalty's just been served. Here comes Hamilton. As Hamilton gives Kovacs a very hefty push. No damage to either car, so Kovacs still just about holds on to 8th position at the moment as we're on the penultimate lap. Fracas defending 10th position at the moment. Nordy trying to find any means and any potential means to get past at the moment. Here comes Jezza. Jezza with a fantastic run. Coming out of the hairpin. Up the inside goes Jezza. These two fighting's going to allow Fracas just to open up that gap a little bit more. Nordy tries to go up the inside, late break up the inside, not going to work this time. Jezza holds it around the outside. Now Jezza's got the inside in the next two corners. They're both trying to outbrake each other. Jezza has the tighter line, has the nicer line. Through goes Jezza. Nordy loses out a little bit more time. But it's now going to be a slipstream battle. Who's going to fight? Oh, no, how should I say this? Who's going to prevail? Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. At the end of this straight before we hit the bus stop. There's a little, both of them scrape the wall just a little bit. Jez is just about going to hold on at the moment. Oh dear. Oh dearie me, that's not good. So, what I suspect happened here was the McLaren Nordy tunnel visioned so much on the back of this Ferrari that they missed their braking marker, because there's the brakes there. Jez is starting to brake and he's off the throttle. Nordy is still flat out. Now starting to brake. And there's the contact. I think Nordy's just tunnel visioned a little bit too much on the Ferrari. Too focused on trying to catch up to the back. So there goes Jezza. Still pinning the throttle as well. Is Jezza going to get a penalty for that, even though he was hit off? I don't think he's going to, because he was hit off. So, Nordy down in 12th. Jezza's now managed to open up the gap due to being hit off. Luckily not got a penalty, so Jezza keeps 11th. Fracas keeps 10th. Kovacs is in 9th after being dispatched by Hamilton quite recently. Oh, Fred goes very wide going into turn 1. Through, as Crofty once said, through goes Hamilton. Coming out of turn 1. So Hamilton's now up to 7th. Let's go a bit further forward. As Turbo's now dropped down to 5th. Danger's up into 3rd. As we got Moo and GKR still with each other. When did this happen? Someone in the invisible wall for deck. Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna. If it's less than half, if it's less than a lap ago, we'll go back. If not, then we're not gonna go back. But Turbo now down to 5th. We're in Chaos's slipstream. But we're gonna leave those two for a minute. We're gonna come up to these two. Moo coming through the bus stop for the final time. We've not really looked at these two, not really touched these two much at all this race, because so much has been going on further back. These two have been untouchable for the entire sprint race. GKR started in first. What are you doing? Why are you okay? That makes no sense to me, but anyway, Moo all the way started in third by the first corner, got Overton to first, had a fantastic start, and Moo takes victory here at his home race with GKR in second. Danger, can Danger hold on to it? No, Chaos is going to try and get him on the line as they're side by side over the line. Danger might just get it. No, Chaos holds on to third, just about. Danger loses out to have fourth position. Turbo's down in fifth, everyone's in sixth. Hamilton has a great race, finishing seventh. Fred's in eighth, Kovacs in ninth. Fracas takes reverse pole for 10th. Jez is in 11th, Nordy's in 12th, Grins in 13th after having a horrible start and a horrible first couple of laps. Gumps in 14th after making a really costly mistake. Dex is in 15th and Renvi's coming up the rear in 16th. So, there's the sprint. I did save it. Yep, that's the feature. Cool. So, the places I didn't think were going to have crashes had some mistakes, and the places where I thought there might be some mistakes kind of didn't have it. So, I'm intrigued for the second half, or for the feature. I am very intrigued. Now, strategies here. The pit lane is longer here. It's kind of a bit like Brazil, where it's quite long. It's quite like a long wait before the tyres get served. So, I reckon the ultimate and the best strategy for this race and for this feature would probably be the one stop, the hard medium or the medium hard strategy. You could two stop it and potentially do the medium soft, but you'd have to be an absolute missile the entire time. I don't know, it's a tough one. I can't really say from experience what I've done, because every time Daytona's on the calendar, I miss it because I'm at work. Every time, and I really want to race here, but I've never been given the luxury or the opportunity to race here yet. Right, so Fracas leads us, which is a sentence I rarely say. He's also got a hard on, which is giggity. An interesting strategy for Fracas, who's going to start off in pole with Kovacs, Fred, Hamilton on the mediums, so second, third and fourth are on the mediums. I'm expecting these three to make some early moves and for Fracas to potentially drop to at least fifth, or at least fourth, maybe fifth, by probably lap 5. Not because he's a bad driver, no, but because the other 3 cars behind him are on the medium tyres and they will just be quicker naturally on the medium tyres to begin with. We've then got Hamilton on the hards, Turbo's on the mediums, Danger's on the hards, Chaos is on the hards, GKR's on the mediums and Moo's on the mediums. So the top 10 are a very even split. So this could actually change quite a few things. Jez is on the mediums, Nordy's on the mediums, Grin's on the mediums, Gump's on the mediums, Dex is on the mediums, so everybody outside the top 10 is on the mediums. There's only 1, 2, 3, there's only 4 drivers on the hards. Interesting. This is going to be interesting. Are a good proportion of this grid going to try and do the 2-stop then? Well, let's crack on and find out. So Fracas takes us away. Everyone falls back into the slipstream. Who's got a good start? Moo's got a fantastic start already, looking at overtaking GKR. I'm going to come back and watch Moo just for a moment. Moo backs out of it as Turbo goes around the outside, or tries to go around the outside of danger at the moment. Obi-Wan's starting to catch up to the back of Hamilton. Kovac's closing up to the back of Fracas at the moment, so is his teammate going a little bit further back. Moo trying to catch up. GKR is doing what Moo did in Alsace on round 2. Chaos gets a really good run, but dives it up the inside, tries to go up the inside, but through goes Moo on GKR. GKR outbraked himself. Chaos unable to get past danger at the moment. Fracas is down to 6th. I said 5th, but I probably lapped 3 or 4, and he's proved me wrong and gone down to 6th in lap 1. How did he lose all that time? That'll explain it. Fracas has a massive moment coming out the hairpin, so through goes the front 3 soft medium runners. Through goes Obi-Wan as well. Does Turbo get past? Turbo's got the momentum to get past. Does he lunge it up the inside? Kind of. Makes a half-assed attempt at lunging up the inside. Hamilton does run it wide, so through goes Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's now up to 3rd. Turbo gets pushed from danger, or chaos, whichever one it was, and is now fighting side by side for Fracas over 5th position. Fracas does lose out on it because the top 5 are all on mediums, so Fracas, Danger and Chaos are all on the hards. The next medium runner is Moo. Going further back, someone has had a mistake. What did Renvi do then? Just a heap too much power coming out of the corner, heads off into the grass. So Renvi's race is now very much... Did he have a little... He did? There we go. Nice one. So Renvi's race is pretty much null and void. Well, I wouldn't say null and void, it's pretty much going to be done. So let's follow this main group coming out. Jezza up still in 11th for the moment. Nordy down in 12th. Grin up into 13th, potentially going to contest Nordy for 12th at the moment. We're going to stay on board with the Lexus driver unless anything else further up ahead happens. Grin had a good run, but deciding to back out of it. Not too bad of an idea, but definitely start pushing pressure on to the McLaren driver. Now the McLaren got a great run. I want to go a bit further up though, because Hamilton is now up into 3rd. We got Turbo starting to contest these guys as well, so these guys are all over the road. Fred has dropped down to 4th. He was up in 2nd, so what happened to Fred? Did he just have a bad bus stop? So Fred feathering the throttle, not trying to catch up to his teammate. These two are going to try and work the... Yeah, he just outbraked himself, massively outbraked himself. Still somehow made the corner. Obi-Wan trying to capitalise, not really got many other places to go, so through goes Obi-Wan. Here comes Hamilton. Hamilton gives Obi-Wan a push. Turbo gives Hamilton a push. Hamilton then basically says to Fred, I'm coming down into this spot, and forces his way down. So Fred's now down to 4th. Turbo's in 5th, so we're going to stay with this group for now, as they're all jostling and tussling for position. Obi-Wan ahead at the moment. Hamilton tries to move out, then slots back in. Fred's got a great run. Oh no, oh no, that's not needed. Right, I think, oh, yeah, so Hamilton slightly outbrakes him, either slightly outbrakes himself or brakes a little bit later than Obi-Wan, trying to get up the inside of Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan, who's got on the flat at the ground, and it's got a little bit more rotation at the moment than Hamilton, does come across to try and keep the car as straight as possible, to try and go basically like that, and try and keep the car along this line, I reckon. Hamilton's on a completely different trajectory. Look at Hamilton's steering input. Now look at Obi-Wan's. There's two totally different steering inputs. There's the contact. There goes Obi-Wan. So Obi-Wan's second position is now not going to exist too much. He's now sliding sideways. He's going to lose out a ton of spots, all the way down to pretty much almost plumb last. I don't think Obi-Wan's going to be too happy with that. Hamilton up into still in second at the moment, but not out of the woods yet. As he nearly stacks it himself, lighting up the rear tyres, trying to get the power down. Turbo avoids it, but it's now going to be compromised because here comes Fred. Fred tries to get through. Not able to work this time around as Turbo goes a bit wide on the entry. Potentially letting Fred have a little sniff. And here comes Moo. Moo's now up to fourth, and we're only on lap 2. So Fred and Moo having a little bit of an argy-bargy, so Fred gets a much tighter line, is on the inside line, but Moo's going to try and power it around the outside. It's going to stick with these two at the moment. Jess is in 6th, GKR's in 7th, Danger's down into 8th at the moment. As the second half of the banking, Moo gets the best run out of the banking because there's a slight downhill, but Fred's still got the inside line. Moo's trying to out-drag him, but not going to work. Gets a fantastic exit. Gives Fred a little bit of a push. To be fair, it might not be a bad idea to push Fred into the Turbo and into Hamilton, because then those guys can fight and potentially allow Moo just to swing straight on through. Jez are now under pressure from GKR. GKR's in 7th, making good moves through the grid. GKR revving it out in 5th gear, trying to extract the most amount of speed possible from that McLaren. Jez still up on the inside, looking further up ahead. Moo's not able to make a move at the moment. Jez drops back as these guys nearly have a tussle and tumble themselves. There's a little bit of contact between Moo and Fred, but not too much to really be too concerned about. It's just, there's enough of a contact for it to be there, but I don't think anything really justified for an investigation. But again, not up to me, not down to me. Going further back, GKR through. Jezza in 7th at the moment, Danger's in 8th, Grin's in 9th, and Dex is in 10th. Obi-Wan up to 11th, Nordy down to 12th, Fracas down to 13th, and bear in mind 3 laps ago he was leading this. So Fracas not having a great opening couple of laps here at Daytona. Gunt down to 14th, struggling to get the car stopped and turned. Chaos down to 15th, Chaos is not having a good one either, and then Renvi just behind. So I missed something, because a fair few of these drivers were higher up. Obviously I know what happened with Obi-Wan. Have I missed something critical or major important? If I have, I'll go back and find it. Now let's turn our attention to the front of the grid. We'll also potentially have people coming to answer. Kovacs versus Hamilton for P1. Hamilton has the slipstream. Tyne literally all over the road. Cannot decide what part of the road he wants to be on. Kovacs comes out wide. Trying to squeeze out Hamilton. Does squeeze out Hamilton. Although he has to leave space because Hamilton was alongside. Does leave space, but only just because he didn't really have much choice. You've got to be careful if you're going to try and squeeze someone out. You've got to make sure A, you leave them enough space, and B, if you're going to come across, you do it in such a way where it's predictable and you're not just bashing the person across. Hamilton gets a fantastic run coming out the hairpin. Doesn't quite get the run to come try and challenge around the outside. You don't really want to challenge there because that's a tricky corner to get right behind the car, let alone trying to overtake someone. Going a bit further back, Moo and Fred are still having a battle for 4th position. Oh, excuse me. Now had the battle for 4th position, so Moo moving up a spot up into 4th. Fred's now dropped down to 5th. Going further up ahead, Kovacs still ahead. We're going to stay here. I'm going to stay on the top 2. Right, that's Kovac's defensive move. You see how he went from the inside now to the outside? Turning in, I'd say that's a turn in. Would that be a penalty? That is a penalty, so Hamilton's race for P1 pretty much ends there for now because he went over the grass and was a bit too aggressive on that curb. So Turbo's now going to find himself up into P2. He's going to get a good slingshot from Hamilton. Hamilton now drops down. Through goes Moo as well. So Moo's now up to 3rd. Here comes Fred. Fred's now going to go up to 4th. Hamilton's going to go down to 5th. GKR's not close enough to capitalise from Hamilton's penalty. Jezza starting to close up on the back of GKR at the moment. Going further back, Danger's in 8th. Grin's still in 9th. Dex is still in 10th, being chased by Obi-Wan in 11th. Nordy's down to 12th. Fracas is kind of on his no man's land in 13th. Gumps struggling to get this car to stop at the moment. We then got Chaos. We then have Chaos in 15th. We've got Renvi bringing up the rear at the moment, but we're going to come back to the front of the grid because this is now going to get... Kovacs goes very wide and through goes Turbo. Turbo has now got the inside line. Took the much tighter line, so Turbo now leads as Kovac went really wide. Basically left the door wide open to Turbo and said, why don't you come on in and make yourself at home? This could be exactly what Turbo needs. Fred and Hamilton are side by side as well, but we're going to come further forward. Kovacs has a little bit of a bump with Turbo. There's no contact, no real shake of either car. Hamilton holds on to gets past Fred, sorry, for 4th position, so Hamilton's back on the move again. Let's go further forward. Let's stick with these two. From the lack of comments of anything I've missed, my question, if I missed anything, I'm going to assume no. So we're going to carry on. Turbo holds the inside line. Kovacs goes all the way down, nearly goes under the apron, which in NASCAR terms you're not allowed to do. Kovacs goes very okay. Right. I'm going to pause this here just very briefly. If my memory is right and my knowledge is correct, if we're going to go by IndyCar and NASCAR, you cannot go below this apron. This line. Basically, that's an imaginary wall. I'm guessing the GTs have the same rules because right there, technically, you've gone off track. Technically, because your entire car, there you go, perfect angle, your entire car is off the circuit. So you could technically argue Kovacs went off the track to go up the inside, he left the track and gained an advantage. Technically. But again, it depends on which type of rules we're going to follow. Now, this point here, Kovacs is ahead. This is now Kovac's corner. He's now got to give Turbo the space. These two are giving each other plenty of space. Kovacs, yes, is running Turbo a little bit wide, but the space is still just about being given. I think Turbo, yeah, from the looks of things, Turbo just drops it by himself. Gets right out of the way as quickly as possible. Turbo, not going from bad to worse, as off he goes. Now has to wait to rejoin. Now has to do a massive wait to rejoin. Bear in mind he was in first. Now he's down to 15th, so Kovacs is back up ahead. Next one to try and take first is Moo. Following that is Hamilton's in 3rd, Fred's in 4th, GKR's in 5th, Jez is in 6th, Grin's up into 7th, Danger's in 8th, Dex is up to 9th, Obi-Wan's in 10th, closely followed by Nadi in 11th. Frack is in 12th, Gump's in 13th, still from the looks of things of that camera angle, struggling to get the car to stop. Chaos is in 14th, Turbo's down in 15th after having a really unfortunate first corner, and then we got Renvi bringing up the rear still. Let's jump on board with Moo because I had a feeling this was happening. We're doing well. They both managed to get the cars to stop. Moo just managed to get the car stopped a little bit more and a little bit better. backed out of it. Very good try and a very good attempt. Getting into the brain of the driver ahead of you. Hamilton's potentially going to now start getting involved soon. In actual fact, Hamilton has got the slipstream. He's coming in quite quick. He's approaching very, very quickly and noticeably as well. Early break from Hamilton, not a bad idea. Potentially might be worth just holding off, just not too much, just a little bit. Maybe let these two fight. There's a little bit of an argy-bargy. Mu outbreaks himself a little bit, gives Kovacs a bit of a push, and because of that ping pong ball effects, comes into play, and then Hamilton hits the back of Mu. So no one's really gained anything from a tiny little bit of misjudgment at the first hairpin. Now we're going through the second hairpin. Mu getting closer and closer every corner. Not going to have a little look. Hamilton doing a great job of following at the moment. So Mu, fantastic run. Now he's got the downhill advantage of the bank. Mu's now ahead. Is he ahead technically by car length? He is ahead by car length. Kovacs can't quite respond. Hamilton outbrakes himself, goes off onto the grass. Can Fred capitalise? No, Fred can't capitalise. So Hamilton lost out a lot of momentum there. And Fred's not really catching either. We're going to go back up front. Kovacs gives Mu a little bit of a push, a little bit of a bump draft going on as we come around the banking. Is he going to try and push Mu to get further ahead from the rest of the grid? Now here comes the attack. Mu defends the inside, Kovacs swings to the outside. They both get the cars stopped. Kovacs gets a nice tight line on the exit, Mu slightly wider. Fred not able to close the gap up to Hamilton, so we'll stick with these two. Mu very wide through the hairpin, can't get the car to rotate either. His tyres are okay. And just looks like Mu's just slowly starting to pull away. The power of that V8, power of that Jaguar in the V8 firing him out the corners, keeping the speed high. Mu just disappears. So after 8 laps, Mu's completed his charge from 10th up to 1st. Hamilton slowly starting to catch up to the back of Kovacs where he was 1 lap ago. Fred's trying to keep up to the back of him. Not any luck at the moment. Jez has got back ahead of GKR. GKR's down into 6th with Grin just behind him. Where is the first of the hard runners? I think it's Danger, yeah. Danger's down into 8th position at the moment with his teammate Obi-Wan into 9th, with Dex in 10th. Nordy's dropped all the way back down into 11th. Fracas up to 12th at the moment, with closing in behind him in 13th. Chaos coming through for 14th. Turbo's still in 15th at the moment, slowly catching. And we've got Runv bringing up the rear. As Gump's got himself a 1.5 second penalty. Steep. That is very steep. So that's going to free up the pressure from Fracas. Fracas can now turn his attention, instead of looking in his mirrors, to looking forward. I want to go a bit further forward though. Try and watch the battle for 5th position at the moment. It's not often I get to use the cinematic camera, and it's quite nice. Seeing these cars in a different light. GKR tries to have a little lunch down the inside. Jez is a bit too wise to it, awake at this time of night in Daytona. Oh, further up ahead. Further up ahead, let's stay with this group up here. So Hamilton managed to get past Kovacs. Kovacs and Hamilton have dropped into the backed off, sorry, excuse me, into off Mo, and now these guys are going to have a little fight for P2. So, who does Fred help? Obviously, it'll probably be his teammate, but he's got to catch up to it to them first. Hamilton later on the brakes makes it work. I think that's going to be a penalty, Kovacs, because you hit, yeah, there it is. So Kovacs has got himself a 1 second penalty, trying to just utilise any bit of speed and space. That's going to cost him more in the long run, I think. So through goes his teammate. Kovacs gave his teammate as much of a slipstream as he could. So there's a slipstream. Kovacs now has to do... Okay, right, let's break this down. So, Jezza catching up at a rate of knots. Now, here, I'm going to pause here. And there's a very good reason why I'm pausing here. It's decision time for Jezza. Jezza's going to catch and pass Kovacs. But does he go left or right? Now, Jezza, we know Jezza goes to the left because we just saw it. Jezza could have gone to the right. You can see there's a little bit of hesitancy where he flicks the wheel left, right, left, right. Kovacs decides to go left. He's allowed to do... Kovacs is entitled to do that. He's trying to defend his position. Jezza, again, he could have gone to the right. There's a lot of space here. I get it. He's a bit worried about where GKR is because he knows GKR is coming around as well. But there's, again, plenty of space. So Jezza could have gone to the right. Unfortunately, he didn't. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, and hindsight is lovely. So Jezza hits the back of Kovacs, which then spears him off into GKR. Jezza then gets spun out. GKR gets yeeted off into the different dimension. Jezza nearly gets collected by Gwyn, who's got nowhere really to go. Gwyn's now going to try and go up the inside. Kovacs, from the looks of things, has outbraked himself. GKR is now the meat in the sandwich. Because Gwyn's gone up the inside and 3 going into 1 doesn't work, Kovacs has now gone off onto the grass. Jez is trying to recover. Through goes Danger up to 7th. So out of all of that, Obi-Wan goes up to as well. So does Dex. So Jez has found himself back into 10th position and he's got damage. Going further forward, Kovacs now finds himself down into 6th with damage. GKR goes up to 5th and Gwyn goes up to 4th. That's kind of a hard one to break down. Kovacs was allowed to defend that, yes. Could Jezza have gone to the right? Yes. I think because Jezza kind of spun himself out, I think it's probably a little bit more of a racing incident. But I can also see the stewards potentially giving Jezza a penalty. Potentially. Because of the contact with GKR. But GKR didn't lose out. The person who lost out was Jezza. Now, we're going to go further forward. We're going to stay with Danger. I think that was more of a racing incident, and it can happen. I think it was just a bit of a misjudgment from Jezza. Right, someone's already pitted. Who's just coming out of the pits? Renfi's just come into the pits, and now coming out on a fresh set of mediums and a full tank. Move coming around to turn 1 at the moment. Hamilton's starting to chase down. Ooh. Things are getting a little bit spicy back here. So, enough checking comments. Let's crack on with this race. So both Peugeots are either doing something at the moment in this race. They're either attacking the driver or they're trying to defend. Obi-Wan trying to catch up to the back of his teammate. Ooh, never mind. Obi-Wan goes off and decides to go and discover what the wall has to say over there, and then gets reset back onto track. So we'll come back to that. We'll come back to where Obi-Wan lands in just a moment. Now have a little look now. So he comes out behind Fracas. How did the wall look? What did it say to you? Did it say anything nice? I hope the wall said something nice to you as you pass by, just to say a quick hello. Going further forward, Dex coming in very hot into the bus stop, manages to get the cars to stop and to rotate. So great braking zone from Dex. This time pulls him right into the back of these two. Can the power of the Z4 get him out of the corner and the slipstream pull him into a potential attacking position? He's in a good spot too. Kovac goes right down to the apron, all the way down to the bottom of the track. Top gear in these cars, 174 miles an hour in the Z4. Dex just backs off a little bit. Short shifts through second and third, and now into fourth as well. Danger defends the inside. He knows the pressure's now coming from Dex and not applying the pressure himself. Dex goes off onto the grass, tries to use all the track and a little bit more, but unfortunately I think it's a little bit too much. That's just killed a bit of his momentum. Jezza potentially going to come into play, but he's got to be worried, he's got to be concerned about his rear right tyre just a little bit. He's got to be a little bit careful, because you can see the car's starting to give just a little, coming out of the corner. Let's go further forward just a little bit. So Grin now chasing down Fred for third position. Hamilton not quite closing up to Moo, who's in first. We're going to stay here just for a moment. Grin gets an absolute fantastic run, uses the slipstream, goes up the inside into the bus stop. Through goes Grim, down goes Fred into fourth position. GKR, can GKR potentially sniff a position of P4? I don't think he's going to this time around. Let's have a little look further back. Danger closes right up to the back of Kovacs. Dexter is there as well. Kovacs goes up high. Danger, excuse me, comes down low. Through goes Danger. Kovacs dives back into the slipstream. Dex has now got the luxury of a double toe. Kovacs goes all the way down to the bottom of the apron again, nearly crosses it. So out goes Dexter goes to the outside, backs off early, rolls off the throttle. Now they're side by side going into turn one. Danger's got the inside, Dexter's got the outside, and Dexter's shown the outside in an 8th position again. So Dexter's got to try something a little bit different. Maybe he's got to try being a little bit more aggressive coming into turn one to potentially get the move, but Dex being very, very smooth. Let's go further forward. GKR closing up on the back of the Mercedes, not quite close enough though to make any sort of move. Hamilton is starting to close more on moves. We've got 10 to go. I reckon a lot of these drivers are potentially going to look at doing the medium soft strategy. If the mediums are still lasting 13 laps, I thought they would have gone off a little bit sooner. Right, Turbo just come out onto the hard tyres, so that's Turbo's pit stop, one and done pit stop. Chaos is in 14th, Gumps in 13th, Frack is in 12th, Obi-Wan in 11th, Naughty's in 10th, Jez is in 9th. We're going to stay with this group at the moment as Kovacs defends the inside front. Danger going into the bus stop. Kovacs goes very deep. Danger tries to go around the outside. Dex tries to grab any sort of scraps. He can, not able to, because these guys are fighting so hard for 6th position at the moment. Hamilton comes in. Hamilton comes in on the end of 13th. So is the undercut here going to be strong enough to potentially get past Moo? Danger comes in from 7th on the end of 13 as well. So is Danger going to try and undercut Kovacs? We're going to keep an eye. Who else comes into pit? No, so that's it. So we got Hamilton, we got Danger, we got Obi-Wan coming in. So both Peugeots doing similar. I'm expecting pretty much the rest of the grid to come in at the end of this lap. Now Fred has been recently passed by GKR. GKR is now up into 3rd position. Gwyn, however, is just gone. Green is gone. GKR now up into 3rd finally. Having recently passed Fred. Fred's having a reasonably good race at the moment. Dex has finally gotten past Kovacs. Let's go and back and have a little look at this. Oh, Kovacs a little bit too much, but a lot of power coming out of that car anyway, but lights up the rear wheels. Dex goes straight through, so through goes Dex. Kovacs is also struggling to get the car turned, so's Jezza. Jezza goes off the track. Nordy nearly has a spin as well, so is this going to allow Fracas to potentially catch up to the back of that McLaren driver? Nordy's got a 1 second penalty. Jezza just about gets away with it. Now jump on board with Fracas in the slipstream now. Not able to catch up too much, but this would be where the difference is going to be. Fracas gets a lot better and a lot more speed coming out of the bus stop, but here comes the penalty. So who comes in? Not many people coming in. Dexter comes in comes Fracas as well. Okay, so the rest of the grid is still going. Now where's Hamilton? Hamilton's come out onto the hard, so Hamilton's on the medium hard strategy, so maybe the softs aren't the option then. Where does Hamilton come out in regards to the people who have just pitted? So, Danger in 13th at the moment. Obi-Wan not too far behind. So can both Peugeots undercut a few people? Let's stick with Obi-Wan for now. So, Dex comes out in between Danger and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's managed to catch up to the back of Dex. So the undercuts kind of worked for these guys. Danger is a bit further up the field, but potentially we could be looking at our net race leader here. Surely this lap move's got to be coming in. Surely. He's got almost no fuel left in that tank. Yep, here he comes. So in comes Moo. Now, Grin could go and do one more. No, he's going to come in too. So's GKR, and so is Fred. So, Kovacs going to be coming in too. We're going to stay on board with Hamilton. We're going to stay here with Hamilton. Nordy could go on another lap too with the amount of fuel, but it's going to be very, very tight. Why's Jezza got rear damage? Oh, that'll be why. This is why I don't like driving the Ferrari or the Lamborghini. This is the exact reason. Watch him turn in. The rear right just completely gives. As soon as these cars and the rear tyres, which are very heavily used and relied on these cars, as soon as they start to give, that's it. You've got no rear grip. Every time you turn into a corner, either on the brakes or on trying to gently accelerate or not really with much load on it, it's like someone yanking the handbrake. So, we're going to stay with Hamilton. Nordy does continue. So, Nordy does continue. I reckon just about has enough fuel for it. Might have to fuel save a little bit. So, does Moo get out ahead of Hamilton? Let's see, how strong is the undercut? Oh, you've made a fatal mistake, Fred. You've got no fuel. So, Fred's come out of the pits with soft tyres but no fuel. Moo comes out ahead, quite considerably ahead of Hamilton, and on the softs as well. Fred's about to have a very, very long lap. He's got no fuel. When does it drop? There it is. That's where it drops. So Fred has now got a very long lap back to the pits. He's over here. He's got to do all of this, which is the fastest parts of the track, to get all the way back to over there. Fred's race is done. It's over. There is no way you're getting back into the top 10 unless we have a huge crash. So, GKR come out on the softs, Grin's come out on the softs, Hamilton's come out on the hards, so Hamilton's going to have to race his socks off to try and keep that third position, potentially even net P2. Nordy, who went around again, is going to be coming in this lap. Surely you're going to be coming in this lap. You are. So this now leaves Moo, who went in pole position, now comes out after his outlap in pole position. Hamilton a little bit further behind, but not too far behind. Grin in a fantastic spot at the moment in the wheel tracks of Hamilton. Now Hamilton can get away with fighting here. We got six laps, just over 6 laps to go. Hamilton can fight his absolute socks off and still have tyres to spare. The soft runners have got to get the job done quick if they really want to potentially catch Moo. Hamilton doing a great job at the defence at the moment. Let's go back through the rest of the grid very quickly. Oh, Kovac's gone wide, so here comes Dex. Dex has got a great exit. Through goes Dex, up into 6th position. Obi-Wan not quite able to catch up and capitalise at the moment. Nordy's up into 9th. Chaos is in 10th at the moment, so Gump's in 11th. So Chaos, I think, is just letting Gump past. I want to see what happened then. I think Chaos has got a throttle issue. Or did you just... Okay, something happened a bit further back. What has happened here? Oh, okay, I see what happened. So, okay, I see what's happening. Chaos is basically just letting Gump back through. So, Gump goes back into the P10. Chaos is going to try it again. Now, Turbo is going to catch up to the back of these two after these two have been squabbling and not playing argy-bargy. Jez is just behind as Turbo decides to go and visit the wall as well. I'm sorry, but that was quite funny. The tank slapper you had coming out of that. It just literally touched the grass. So, back on comes Turbo. Renvi's down in 15th, and there's Fred. There goes Moo, and he's left. So Fred didn't want to be lapped, left after being lapped. So off goes Fred into retirement. Through goes Moo. Moo's still under pressure from Grin. Grin's got a great run on the slipstream. Hamilton now down to the inside. There's no other driver close by, so we're going to jump into cinematic for this camera angle. Gwyn on the outside, pushed right out wide. Hamilton trying to get the car stopped, Green trying to get the car stopped. Both drivers get the car stopped and turned. They're still side by side as we come through the little chicane coming up to their hairpin. Green's got the inside and the soft tyres. Does get the car to rotate, but goes deep as Hamilton gets a switch back on the hard tyre. So lovely little battle between these two at the moment for P2. We're going to stay here. Does Green have another little look? No. A bit too far back. Hamilton keeps it wide, swipes in. Gets a very good drive coming out onto the left-hander before we get to the bank. This is what I mean. Look at Hamilton's tyres. They're not really that much used since we last seen them. Look at Grin's. Quite a lot more used. Hamilton can fight a lot. Hamilton get away with battling a lot. Grin, GKR, can't get away with it that much. They need to dispatch Hamilton quick to really utilise. Hamilton defends the inside a little bit late. Does Hamilton get the car stopped though? No, doesn't get the car stopped, goes off and wide. Grin goes around the outside as Hamilton drops it all on his own, so through goes GKR as well. We're going to come back and watch that from a different perspective. So Hamilton goes off wide, outbrakes himself. There, that's quite critical. Hamilton, I'm guessing, yeah, Hamilton's under power, full power, trying to get the car to turn, trying to get the drive to try and drag race Grin around the edge. And bear in mind, he's still on the hard tyres, he's just gone off, so that's going to be slippy. So Hamilton, off goes Hamilton into the barriers, going to go and pay a visit to the wall. GKR's now got a great run after Grin's compromised run because of Hamilton's visit into the wall. Hamilton's going to drop down a few more positions as well, so we'll come back to Hamilton in just a moment. We're going to stay here. That Lexus has got some very good legs on it, but not quite good enough for the slipstream of that McLaren. Outpulls the McLaren onto the outside. No, that's the button I wanted. As we are side by side, going over the start finish line, coming into the braking zone of turn 1. GKR swoops around from the outside. GKR's charge into second is done. I don't think GKR can charge up to first because it moves on the softs as well. And it's an entire corner ahead of these two. So GKR, great job done by him, already opening up a very healthy gap to Grin, who's in third. Still very good finishing spot if the race was to finish now from Grin. Danger's in fourth. We got Dex in fifth, potentially hunting down a P4. Go on, Dex. We've got Hamilton in sixth after having a little spin. Obi-Wan in seventh with Kovacs in eighth. We got Nordy in ninth. We got Gump in 10th. We got Jezza chasing down at the moment in 11th. Chaos down into 12th, so Chaos has not had a great lap at all. Fracas in 13th, gone on to the mediums. And then we got Turbo in 14th, and then bringing up the rear, just coming over the line to start lap 19 is Renby. We're going to stay here. We're going to stay on board with Dex. We're going to follow Dex for just a moment. What the hell did I just witness? Okay, Danger seems to be downloading some spoilers and headlights and rear lights and wheels. He seems to be downloading a lot of them at the moment because Danger is clearly a danger to himself and all over the road. I kind of want to see that from his perspective. If I watch on his perspective, it's even worse, so we're going to gloss over that just for a moment. I can understand why Dex backed off for that, because I would, because you've just got no idea where the driver is. Now, Hamilton in a position to start making amends for his mistake a lap or two ago. Did Danger just... Oh, Danger got a penalty and I didn't even see it. So, Danger's got himself that's 1 second penalty. So through goes Dex. Dex is now up to 4th, which is a great result from Dex. Hamilton now goes up to 5th. Kovacs goes past Danger as well. Obi-Wan does back off. Oh, don't hit your teammate. That's not the best of things to be doing. No, he doesn't. So Obi-Wan nearly takes out his teammate. Just about keeps it off the grass as well. So, oh my dear God. Off goes Go. Okay. Okay. Let's watch this from Danger's point of view. So, to break this down, Danger nearly gets taken out by his own teammate. Fine, that happens. There's a critical piece. So Kovacs all the way out to the side. Danger's got a really good run. I'm not sure if he has a snap. I'm not sure if it's a snap on his point of view. But on this perspective, there is no snap. It just looks like he just drives to the left. Now, if he had a snap, and I didn't see it, that's fine. And we can't see it, that's fine. I'll take his word for it. But here, he's trying to turn to the right to give Kovacs the space. And to be brutally honest, if he's had a snap and he's lagging around a bit, then it's going to be very hard to do that. But from this perspective, I mean, he's even turning to the right as well. Again, I'm not sure what's going on this perspective. It could be that there was a snap of oversteer. And if there was a snap of oversteer, then this reaction from Danger is very much valid. Let me sorry, I'm just trying to get the comments up. There we go. Right, there we go. Now my comments are actually updating. Danger was lagging all over track. Yeah, fair enough. So, with the lag in place, it's really hard to say who's at fault. If there was no lag, easy, Danger, because he's just driven Kovacs completely off the track. But because there's lag involved as well, it's really hard to place out. Kovacs has just gotten very unlucky. Very unlucky. It's like 20 meters away, so playing lag. No, fair enough. That's what I was saying. Because Danger's lagging all over the place, it's really hard to determine. I mean, look, he's just fucking driving. Like, the more I watch it, the worse it gets. And the funnier it gets as well, because he's scraping the barrier doing 120 mile an hour. So, I'm going to blame lag, and I'm going to literally put it down to lag. And I think Kovacs just got extremely unlucky. Yeah. Question to me over breaking point. Yeah, I get that. So, Kovacs defends from Nordi very, very well going into the bus stop. Kovacs still holds on to 8th at the moment. Nordi's trying all they can to get past. Gunt's in 10th at the moment. Jez is having another Jez moment. What have you done here, my friend? Chasing down. Yeah, just loses it, completely loses it in the bus stop. It's why I don't like driving the Ferrari and the Lambo. I think the only rear engine car I actually enjoy driving is... I've never driven the McLaren, so I can't say I can't say if I enjoy the McLaren or not. It's got to be the Peugeot and the Porsche. They're the only two rear engine cars I actually like driving in this class. The rest are all front engined, and I do quite enjoy them. There's a little bit of a touch as no. and Nordy gets unsettled. Through goes Kovacs as they touched on the braking point in the braking zone, so the McLaren falls down. Tonight, Kovacs keeps 8th at the moment. Going further up ahead, we got Dex in 5th, followed by Laggy Machine in 6th. At the moment, we got Hamilton in 4th. Further forward, we've got Grin in 3rd. GKR in 2nd, and Moo just pulling away even more in 1st at the moment. Renly's still doing well. Turbo's still down in 14th. Jez is in 13th, so two Ferraris not having the best day in the office at all. Fracas is in 12th at the moment. Not too bad, considering a couple of moments he has had this race. Chaos could be looking at a top 10. Let's go and find some let's find a group. Let's stay with this group for a bit, because this is the closest group on track at the moment. Danger gets a really good bus stop, very good run out of it as well. Can Dex use the drive? I think, yeah, he does. He does use the drive. He's pulling a nice healthy gap out from Danger, giving himself a little bit more breathing room, but can Dex catch up to the back of that Alpha? That Alpha is very slippy in a straight line. Dex 168 miles an hour versus 164, so Dex could potentially look. No, not going to look this time into going into turn 1. I don't really want to sit on Laggy Machine, so we're going to go on to Obi-Wan. I'm going to follow it from Obi-Wan's perspective. Top 3 only have me binning it in the last bus stop. You can ignore it. Right, you need to learn a lesson. Never tell me if you're going to screw up, because if you screw up, I will make sure I find it and show it. It's sometimes better to not tell me, because if I then miss it, I've missed it. Oh, Danger nearly had a little moment. Coming out of the second hairpin as we come up onto the banking. Obi-Wan nearly goes into the back of his team, and that was very close. Let's go further forward. Danger has a great exit and a great run again, coming out onto the banking, but is it going to be enough? Dex having a little look up the inside, not going to make it work this time. Hamilton defends, it's going to be offset, so here comes Dex. Can Dex get a good enough run coming out of the bus stop? Just behind him he's got the two Peugeots. They're going to be starting to work together as well. They're going to try and bump draft each other to the back of these two. We're going to stay in Obi-Wan's perspective. No, we're going to jump into forward as we come onto the last lap of this race. Hamilton defending with everything he's got. Look at his tyre life. He's still got tons of tyres compared to Dex, who's coming up to the end of the tyre life on his soft tyres. Here comes Danger. He's been pushed along by his teammate. As we've got a big fight for fourth at the moment. Obi-Wan tries to go around the outside of Danger. Danger has a little bit of a moment, does take a visit to the wall, so both Peugeots have taken a visit to the wall today. I hope the dentist bill is not that high. Hamilton goes deep into turn 4, excuse me. Dex tries to capitalise, can't quite capitalise it this time. We come charging through the infield, through the quick left-hander. No space for Dex to try and have a little look through this time around. I kind of want to stay and watch this, but I need to find out where Moo is. We're going to stay for a little bit, see where Moo is. Obi-Wan gets a really good run up coming out of the infield sequence. But Dex has got the slipstream on Hamilton. But we're going to go further forward. I found it. So, GKR, doing GKR, unlike GKR things. Let's go in straight through, but we're going to go further forward to Moo, who started in 10th after 8 laps, charged through the field, going to first. and has absolutely dominated here in the Jaguar and takes victory here at Daytona. We then got Grin, who started in P2 in the sprint, had a horrible sprint race, started near the back of the grid here at the feature, and then come through to take second place, so a very, very well-deserved podium for Grin, who then got GKR, who loses out due to GKR things. We got Dex in a 3-wide fight. Yeah, definitely 3-wide fight for fourth, and Dex takes fourth. Hamilton squeezes fifth. Danger loses out in sixth. Obi-Wan's down into seventh. I want to go back and watch this because this has been going on for a little bit. We're going to go back and watch this because this is going to be a fight definitely worth watching, as we're going to come up to the bus stop. Oh, Obi-Wan with a great break, outbreak the pair of them. Outbreak both Hamilton and Dex, didn't quite able to get it to work. Ghosts, so through goes Danger, so Obi-Wan's now lost the run. Here comes Danger. Obi-Wan in the slipstream of Hamilton, the closest he's ever been. Danger is really close to the back of these two as well. How do we fan out? Dex goes straight down to the inside. Hamilton's in the middle. Danger's got a really good run, but is it going to be quite good enough? Dex all the way down onto the inside line. No, not quite good enough. So Danger's in sixth. Obi-Wan's in seventh. Kovac, after a really hard race for Kovac, is down into eighth. We got Nordy and Chaos battling out for ninth. Nordy just clutches it for ninth. Chaos is in 10th. Fracas is in 11th. Kumps in 12th. Turbo gets back past. Oh dear. Oh dear, I think I know what's coming up. Yep. So Jezza does Jezza things and does more Jezza things at Daytona. Seems to be a recurring theme for Jezza at Daytona at the moment in this race. So Turbo comes past the pits, for the final time, takes 13th. Jezza has a race definitely to forget, I think. So does Turbo. And over the line he comes, and then Renvi bringing up the rear. Now, I want to double check something. Did Renvi do a medium? I want to check that. Because unless I'm mistaken, I think Renvi only stopped once. And if he only stopped once, and if he went medium, that's, if I'm right, and if the rules haven't changed, technically a disqualification. Because you can't do that, you've got to change your tyre compound. I need to check that. Yeah. The battle for fourth. Was it? I think it was fourth. Yeah, I think the battle for fourth was really, really good, yeah. Over the line for the final time comes Renvi. So, he starts on the medium. Sorry, I just want to check this very, very quick. Yeah, he went medium. So, unless you stopped and did a lap, at least one lap on the hards or the softs, I think that's a no-no. It might be worth just... It might just be worth bearing in mind in the future. You've got to at least do one lap on another compound. So, there you have it. There's Daytona. Let me just get the standings up. So, Moo taking another double victory, his third double victory this season, extending his lead to 17 points to GKR, who's in second. We got Danger still in third, and 8 points behind Danger is Turbo, who's in fourth, and then we got Kovac. I think it's Kovac. Yeah, then we got Kovacs, who comes into the top 5. Looking on to the constructors, the McLarens have overtaken the Ferraris, and the Ferraris have dropped from first down to third, with the Peugeots going up into second. So the constructors is still very much alive at the moment. And that's it. We're all caught up. Right, everyone, have a great time, have a good one, and I will see you all soon.